All right. We are live. All right. This is my first live YouTube. So I'm going to have some fun with this. Anyway, I want to make this content anyway. And I figured I'd go live and what the hell. But first things first, what I want to do is I want to crack open one of these. This is Leffe. Now, Leffe is one of my favorite beers. There we go. We are going to pour this. Oh, wait, sound? All right. This is delicious. In my favorite, glass. Chimay is my favorite beer. But Leffe Blonde. Okay. Gonna be a good night. So basically what I want to do is I want to talk about something nobody else is talking about here. So let me jump deeper into this right here. So this is Bitcoin, the life of Bitcoin. And I want to really focus on one thing. I want to predict in this video, I'm going to predict exactly when we peak the bull market and exactly how much I think it's going to be. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm going to show you calculations that really point this thing in an accurate direction. And it's exciting because it kind of tells me what it could do and it tells me how quickly it can do it. So it's pretty cool. But right now we can see the current situation, which to be honest with you, in the monthly, it is looking like it's starting to consolidate, right? That's where we are right now at 62. We can see this scoop, obviously this bear market from 2022, 2023. We have the double humps here. The second hump was the peak of 21. And then we have the double hump here, which is the bull market of 17. The first hump was the bigger one at 19K. And then we have this little blip here, which if I zoomed in would be pretty big at the time. And it's around 1200. And that was the bull market of 13. So I'm going to just show you what I've come up with here. And it's mind blowing here. So check it out. Wow. Wow. Let's take a look at this. It's a lot of information here. But nobody is talking about this. So I predict November of 25, we will hit 131K. How do I know this? I'm going to show you exactly how. So let's start with each one of these. Bitcoin halving 13, 17, 21, 24. So let's start here. And actually, technically, I should be naming this 25. Little typo there. So let's fix that while we're here. No, that's actually right. 24. My bad. So yeah, actually, that's one thing that throws me for a loop right there. 4 years. What am I screwing up? This is 2013. Boom, boom. This is what? This is 2020. That's why. All right. Let me fix this while we're here. What the hell? We're live, right? This is 16. So technically, I'm 1 year off. I was thinking of the bull run. This is 12. Okay. All right. Now we got that fixed. So check it out. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start here. Obama was elected pretty much right around the time we had 2012 halving. And then about a year later, we peak, right? Fast forward 3 years later. Well, we have the presidential election. Trump's elected. Bitcoin halving happens a little bit earlier than the election this time. Pretty interesting. And then a year later, we have a peak, right? And then we go to the next one. We got Biden. So he's elected. And literally a year later, we peak. You see the pattern? President, election, peak, election, peak, election, peak. We are here, election. So a year later peaks, right? And that's November of this year. So that's one sign that we're going to really peak in November. Now, granted, yes, we did have an ETF, and I think that's part of the reason we look so wacky here, and we've never been here. But there's a lot of patterns here that are holding strong. Another thing too is what I've noticed is the Bitcoin halving keeps moving. So there's the halving and the election. There's the election halving. There's the election halving. And there's the election halving. Like we're getting further and further away. Isn't that interesting? So that's another cycle or pattern. One more thing is from the moment halving happened in 12 to the moment we peaked, it was 365 days, basically a year later, right? This is about 518 days. This is about 549 days, and I'm predicting 579. So really interesting stuff here. So the most amazing part is that I've measured what kind of gains we're getting from the halving, which is here, to the peak. So let me see. The first one, I wish I'd write it down here. All right, I'll just speak it out because it'll be easier. So the first one was 105x. So you have the halving, and we did a 105x from where Bitcoin was at halving to here. The next one was from here to here, we did a 30x. And then the next one from here to here, we did an 8x. So I did some calculations, ChatGPT, and what do we have here? 2.25, right? So let's go back here. I'm sorry, 2.24 is the diminishing return. That is the X we're playing with here. So if we look at that, 2.24 takes us from, I think it was 58,000 when we were having, takes us to 131K. Really interesting. Now, who knows, right? Maybe it doesn't, but it follows the pattern each time. It was like a diminishing return of 73%, then 72%. So 73 from here to here compared to here. This was a 73% diminishing return. This was a 71% diminishing return. So a 72% diminishing return would bring us to 131K. So real interesting. And, crypto follows Bitcoin. All crypto follows Bitcoin. So I find this fascinating. I find this amazing. Anyway, it's interesting. And I want to show you another thing here. I'm going to change. This is the first time I'm using Restream. So going slow here. Where is it? Hitting the wrong buttons here. Hold on one second. Replace. Okay, hold on one second. Oh, that's not what I want. I know it's here somewhere. There it is. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me pick the right screen. So right here. So check it out. This is my little cheat sheet. And I've been kind of growing this. But as you can see, here's the halving and this is now okay. So we can see 13, the second peak. The first peak was 260. That was a joke. The second peak was 1163, right? And then we had Bitcoin halving the next one. And then we always have two peaks, right? So first peak 19, second peak 17. And then the next halving we have second peak was 68, which is the big one. The first peak wasn't that far off, but still. Pretty interesting stuff here. And there's some other milestones or major events that have taken place too. Not really sure how they play a role, but I have them documented. Very interesting. Now, what I haven't measured, and I'll probably make a new video when I do the math, but what I want to measure is the X or percentage gain from the bottom, right? The all-time low, I should say, right? All-time low of that cycle to the all-time high. So we have all-time low and then all the way to the all-time high and so on. So very interesting stuff here. I don't know. I think so far I haven't seen any variation of Bitcoin changing its its trajectory. It just seems to be that 70, that 73, 71% diminishing return is real interesting. Um, Two things that happened too, just to point out, and then let me go back to this. Let me go back to this thing. Let me go in slow here, trying to figure it out. Replace screen. Okay, here we go. So this is right here. Going back here. So one more thing that's interesting is two things happened in this cycle that have never happened before. One thing is we had the ETF for the BTC and the ETF for the Ethereum. And now that's phenomenal, right? There's mass adoption. So something incredible can happen. Um, I think what happened here, if we zoom in, I think what's going on is that we had this ETF thing happening. I don't remember exactly when. Maybe somebody knows, but probably somewhere over here, something was. Maybe it was somewhere around here. There was something about the ETF, the BTF, the Bitcoin ETF was released. I think this is artificial. I think it was supposed to do what it's doing right now, like this, but it scooped up really hard and then it kind of caught itself and now it's correcting and it's doing this consolidation. And for anybody who doesn't know about consolidation, anytime we consolidate, we explode. So we had consolidation here. Really, you can really lose your wicks and you get really small candles and consolidate and then explode. And then, we get the consolidation here, explode. So I feel like it's trying to do its thing right now. But that was definitely an anomaly for this cycle that we've never had before. And the other thing that's really interesting is this is another one that's just a monkey wrench in our cycle is Bitcoin halving always happens before it reaches the previous all-time high. So, for example, this is where I have to zoom in. So, did I just move something? There we go. All right, let me go here. So, this is interesting too, because we had Bitcoin halving, and then we reach our previous all-time high. Okay, here it is, our previous all-time high. I love this scoop. Previous all-time high was here. So we have Bitcoin halving, and then it finally reaches this point, right around here. And it's what? This was about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8 months, 9 months, something like that. So if we go to the next one, this is really interesting. Bitcoin halving, right here. Bitcoin halving, here's our previous all-time high. Actually, technically, it was 19. So previous all-time high, where are we? 19, somewhere around here. So we have this, and then it scoops up. And this was only what, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, and we hit our previous all-time high. 6 months after Bitcoin halving. And then let's go to the next one. So this is strange, right? Because I remember this, and here it is. We passed our previous all-time high before Bitcoin halving. So we were at here. I remember this happened. And then a month later, we actually hit Bitcoin halving and something crazy. So those are the two major anomalies that are different from all the other patterns. So maybe that throws my prediction off. Maybe not. I don't know. But it is interesting. And I have yet to see anyone show these details. The presidents, and then a year later, the peak, and also the distance between the halving to the peak. So we have the distance slowly growing every single cycle. Something's going on. There's a pattern here. Very interesting. This stuff blows my mind. I'm a numbers guy, so this does it for me. Anyway, I just wanted to share. I'm curious what everyone else thinks. Leave your comments there and tell me what you think. And if you enjoy this information and you find that it's I don't know, inspiring, encouraging. Um, I haven't seen this anywhere else. I haven't seen any YouTube videos where they talk about all this information here at once. Um, so I just see this, and it's just incredible to see the scoop here too, which is Where are we? The scoop here, which is as soon as it reaches this point, it explodes. Pretty sure it did it back here too. I mean, give or take a few months. But as soon as it reaches here, it takes off, right? And it did it the following year. As soon as it reaches here, right, it takes off. And then again, this is where we're at now. We reached our thing. Something crazy is happening here. Normally, it would probably take off about here, but we noticed that every cycle, the Bitcoin halving happens earlier and earlier compared to the presidential election. Very interesting. So put that pipe, put that in your pipe and smoke it and tell me what you think afterwards. All right.